It has the highest mountain in Spain and a volcanic plateau so rich in biodiversity it's been declared a World Heritage Site. It has a unique culture, straddling the old and new worlds, with reminders of an ancient older civilization that long predates the Spanish conquest. It's productive farming country with rich volcanic soil. Yet the land is never quite tamed. This is Tenerife in the Canaries. If you stay within your holiday resort, the chances are you won't come across the real Tenerife. Yet you only have to venture a short distance to discover a natural and unspoilt landscape of rugged mountains and ancient forests.
Tenerife is a good place to come and warm up, especially in the winter season. But if you are adventurous, much more to be offered on this island.
For an island of only 2,000 or so square kilometres, Tenerife has an astonishing amount of space set aside as national or natural park.
Being on a very high island as Tenerife is, you'll find 5 vegetation levels on the island. So you can go from the coastline and enjoy the typical vegetation of dry places in the world. You can enjoy picnic in the pine tree forest, or you can disappear in the mist visiting our lower forest.
The comparatively young island of Tenerife has landscapes of global scientific importance. The Laurisilva woods of the Anaga and Tino mountains are remnants of ancient forest that covered the whole of southern Europe before the last ice age. Then there are the Canary pine forests that cover 125,000 acres, once exploited for logging, but now protected as recreational park and known as the Green Lung of Tenerife. The landscape changes inside Mount Teide National Park. The park is a lunar plain of twisted rock and molten lava from the last time the mountain blew its stack in 1909.
Teide was declared National Park in 1954. It's a huge geological museum. At every turning on that road you'll find a different volcanic area. So I could say that Mount Teide is probably one of the most varied volcanic places in the entire world. In terms of flora, it's also very special. More than 200 species grow in Mount Teide and about 50 of them are endemic to the national park.
A cable car takes you to the top of Teide, where the air is dizzyingly thin, but the view looking up is as dramatic as the scene in reverse, if you don't fancy the vertigo. After a few hours crunching along volcanic gravel trails, it's time to relax and enjoy some of the traditional good living that has become a way of life in Tenerife.
Food and wine, especially wine, is something you can enjoy on Tenerife. On this island you will find 24 different types of vines. Some of them are now indigenous to the Canaries because of the phylloxera. Phylloxera killed vines in Europe, but that epidemic never affected the vines on the Canary Islands.
The wines of Tenerife, they were well known, they are still known, but even Shakespeare wrote about them, and even the Bill of Independence was toasted by Tenerife wine.
You cannot leave Tenerife without trying local food. Something that you can easily get to try is wrinkled potatoes, which are steamed potatoes in the jacket with local mojos.
We also have beautiful goat cheeses. We just won an award for it last year. And of course, being an island in the Atlantic Ocean, everything you want to eat fish-wise, it's there every day, fresh on the table.
Tenerife has some of the best preserved Latin-influenced architecture in the world.
Driving on the motorway, you don't really get to see much of the island, but if you go off the beaten tracks, you'll end up visiting these little villages, very quaint villages, some of them, where you can enjoy Mudéjar architecture, which is definitely the Spanish style. If there is a style that should be considered purely Spanish, that is Mudéjar, which is Christian buildings with a strong influence of Arab style on them. But we are the result of a blend of people. So in our houses, beside the Mudéjar buildings, you'll find influence from different styles that came in from Europe, brought in by colons in ancient times.
Pride of place is the original capital, La Laguna.
In places like La Laguna, which is a World Heritage Site by UNESCO, you can disappear inside houses and get into these beautiful courtyards. You can enjoy coffee with locals on our main squares.
Then there's Orotava, known as the town of the aristocrats for its grand buildings and terrace gardens, and peaceful Garachico, a medieval port reborn as a centre for the arts. Tourism's helping look after some of Tenerife's finest traditional houses in these towns. In Garachico, a former manor has become a boutique hotel. Meanwhile, in the countryside, traditional farm buildings are being carefully restored as guest houses. When it's time to party, party Tenerife style.
This is Spain, and Spain is a country of fiestas, so we have fiestas all the year round for you to enjoy and get to know the hospitality of local people.
You're never far from a celebration on this island. So, if you don't know where to go, just follow the band.
¡Viva San Isidro! ¡Que no viva tan lejos!